Hello and welcome fellow subscribers and other racing fans. I got a suggestion for another Track 101, you know, the series where I analyze the tracks and give advice on how to take the corners, which lines to take and how to be generally faster on the track. We already did Bathurst and Sakito and Spa in this series. So if you haven't checked out all those videos, have a look and tell me what you think. So now we are here, Watkins Glen GP circuit, of course. General thoughts about that circuit: very bumpy, very bumpy. Grip is always a problem already during the day, but if it's going into the night times or rain, it's totally ridiculous how less grip you have here. So the most important things are traction out of the corners. A reason, by the way, for the roof being so fast here. If you would ask me which are the fastest GT3 cars around Watkins Glen, I would tell you the roof and the C4. Although the C4 lacks a little bit in speed, I guess. However, you need the traction. This is the most important part. Okay, with the first lap already gone, I guess we jump into the explanation of corners. I think the best lap I did was the last one, so we jump into the last one. Let me just scroll through here really quick. Of course, no real quick option in Broche cars. Okay, so 2 minutes should be 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Okay. Let's jump in here. That looks good. Let's change the camera. That is this. And yeah, basically take this camera. Always thought this is the best to explain something. And we are there. Let's go. Oops. Little visual bug there, I guess. Let's go a little bit further. That was, by the way, not the perfect lap. However, it was a rather quick lap. With full tank, I just jumped into the track with some AI. I thought they would be faster and I could have some fights, but there were no fights. First corner. Maybe you see this little, yeah, there's a little, how do you call it? Maybe a little hole, or ditch is too much, or I don't know. This little bump, negative bump there at the 200 meter mark, which is right here. So you have to brake at this point. Maybe a little bit earlier. Let's see what the other cam says, if I already braked at this point. Yeah. Okay. I already brake at the 300 meter mark, but it is when I see this little bump there, then I'm going to brake. The thing is, you shouldn't brake later because you need to go to the right at this point. There's another bump. This time it's a bump upwards, a real bump, and you kind of need to take this bump to throw the car around the corner. So you go right here and now you go to this hole in turn 1. Don't hit the curb, that's very important. The curb is much too high to be hit. So take the hole, go through the hole, and you can already go on the throttle again. You see the camber in the road. You have to use that for best cornering. Good. So we are on the apex, on the throttle again, full throttle. You don't really, you really don't need to care about the exit because there's enough room. However, don't go over the curb because you get a 5-second penalty at this point. So we stay on the curb. Depending on your rules, on your regulations of your league you're racing in, be careful with the white line. You know, 2 wheels have to be within or on the track, so within the white lines at all times. We stay on the left as long as possible, so we can get a faster cornering speed in the uphill bend which is coming. So not hitting the curb again, very important. In general on Watkins Glen, very important not to hit the curbs. They unsettle the cars too much. The road already has enough bumps. So what we are doing now, that's just full throttle here. And you have to really practice that. It's completely full throttle. The whole uphill part is full throttle. However, you see we are climbing the mountain at this point. Let me see if I can get a better picture of that. Maybe here, maybe you see it better like that. When you see the little curb on the left, you have to turn left. It's a blind turn in. If you turn in too early, you will hit the curb on the left, which is bad, absolutely bad, because that throws you off to the wall on the right. And if you turn in too late, you have to go off throttle, else you will also understeer into the barrier depending on your setup. So be careful with that. The right point to turn in is very important here. Let me see again. Driving around. And okay. Best mark might be on the right, where you can see the yellow painted line is ending here and this little concrete patch is starting. So this is the best opportunity to turn to the left. And you see here, you can hit this red curb. That's totally fine. This curb is flat, so you can hit that, but not the black and white curb. Okay, that was perfect. Although I think in this lap I had to lift a little bit because the car did some understeering here. Well, it always depends on your setup, of course. But if you do it like that, you can get through the corner full throttle. And this is important because the straight which is following makes you get or gain or lose 2-3 tenths just because of the corner you had here. Maybe even more. Nothing to say here on the straight. You might want to overtake here, but usually it's not the best idea as it gets really nasty into the bus stop if you are side by side. Someone always has to hold back because it's not safely possible to drive through the bus stop with 2 people side by side. Okay, breakpoint here depends again on how you want to take the bus stop, because cutting on the entry is possible there. Not sure if I did it in this lap, we will see. Depending on your rules, again, you might not want to do it, so you have to brake a little bit earlier to slow down a little bit more. See, I braked at the 300 meter mark again. Didn't cut the entry, had a little bit too much understeering though, so I cut the left part here. Usually you take a little bit more curb from the entry and you need to go as straight as possible through the bus stop. This is a general rule, by the way. Bus stops are always designed like that. You basically can go through it with one steering angle, you know. You don't need to correct, or it's bad if you need to correct. Usually you can only you can just turn in to the right and then have your steering angle to the left and throttle out of the bus stop in a very, very clear and straight line. So I messed it up a little bit here. It got a little bit too much motion into the car, which is bad. Usually as well, stick to the left. If you're driving through the bus stop, don't go much to the right here. You don't need the extra space. There is enough room on the entry and the exit, so you can safely drive on the inner line. So you have a faster drive through those bus stop chicanes. But you see, yeah, my car skidded away a little bit there, which is bad. So I couldn't hit the curb on the left here. You usually hit this curb with half the car, and then the other exit curb with the other half. So what I did here was, yeah, kind of dirty. It was just because I messed up the entry. So don't do this, kids. I usually shift down at this point to a third gear. Without braking, or with just a little bit of braking, so I can get a better turn into that carousel corner. Little bit too much curb here already got on the grass, but in general it's a good idea to put your your two right tires onto the curb, and you can throttle out earlier. By the way, in this corner, throttle out very early. You have enough room on the left, so you can throttle out very early. From this point on, it's just full throttle. Now I'm in the fifth gear here, and I'm shifting down to second, trail braking into the corner. And then what's important here, I'm a little bit far away. I just wanted to say, important here, don't take the outside line. It's possible to take the outside line, but in my opinion it's better to take the curb on the inside, because magically the curb does seem to have more grip than the road. I can't really explain you why, but it helps to get around the corner very cleanly, very nicely, without much slippery sliding. So full throttle again, taking the outside curb here, no problem. And braking, important here, I always take this, yeah, where the car is. I always orientate myself on this little concrete patch or asphalt patch, whatever it is, and I take it with the middle of the car just for a measure. So now you let the car roll around in second gear, and at some point, maybe here, you're already on full throttle again. Maybe we can see it better in another camera. You see the camber here? It's supposed to go full throttle from this point. It's just very cambered road, so no problem. The rear might step out a little bit, but with some counter steering, that's no problem. By the way, hitting the grass on the outside here is no problem as well. It has quite some grip. There is no problem. Maybe this is a little bumpy, but the grip is there. It's no problem. Okay, important corner. Again, I'm braking at the 300 meter mark, it seems. I didn't even realize. Brake on the outside, as far outside as possible, without hitting the grass, of course. Then you go off the brakes and just roll around the corner, and you're on the throttle very early. Maybe here, maybe even here, on the throttle very early. There is enough room on the outside. You can go on the throttle earlier than you think, because of that big curb here. A problem would be to go on the throttle too early, of course, because once you understeered too much, I wanted to say, so you are on the left here maybe, you can get into the gravel trap, and the gravel trap is death. Yeah, cross is still okay, however gravel trap would be death. So I think I messed up this corner a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, okay. You come here with a third or fourth gear. Now it is important to go to the inside very soon. However, I think you have to stay on the outside a little bit longer. I went to the inside a little bit too soon here. Stay on the outside a little bit longer. Get into the corner like this and hit this little patch here to get a straight exit. You can go on the throttle full corner long. However, not how I did or how I made the how I drove the corner here. Let me see if I find the camera. Yeah, you see the corner is a little bit cambered here. This little patch, you can hang in there and take the corner with quite high speed. Of course, the rear might come around a little bit. Some counter steering should be fine. Now what I'm doing here, I'm in fourth gear at this point, braking a little bit. However, this is not a hard brake. This is just slight brake to get the car aligned to the corner apex a bit, and then I'm downshifting from fourth to third in this car. I'm not sure if it's with all gearbox configurations in all cars possible. However, this helps to get the car around better after the initial turn in, so you can hit the apex a little bit smoother. Then you're, of course, from this point on, you're of course full throttle again. Now, important to get to the left very early here. Get to the left very early, I tell you. Reason for that: for the last corner, you have to be on the very left. You have to be really left, so you have all the room for a faster cornering in this corner. Also, make sure the car is already stable. You know, if you're going left-right, the car gets unstable and it's hard to take another corner. So you have to be on the left very early, so the car is straight before you turn in for the last corner. Okay, you see that? Maybe car a little bit unstable. However, turn in early and go off the throttle and off the brakes. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Just roll around. Don't hit the curb on the inside again. And when you think you make the exit, then just go full throttle again. Not too early though. I know you really want to hammer the throttle very early, because there is the straight, the main straight, the start-finish straight coming up. However, it's very deadly to hit the throttle too early, because there's just a wall on the outside. However, you can take the full curb, use all the centimeters, all the inches available, and you are fine for the final corner exit on the straights. Okay, so I think that was it. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed my explanations. I didn't tell you the gears this time. Last time I always told you which gears to use, but this time I want to display them on the video. When you see the video, you already have them there, I guess. And I hope that helps you to know which gears you need to use, because that's most important, of course. The lines are the one thing, but the gears are another thing. Always important, and sometimes you can gain 1 or 2 tenths just by modulating the gears you use in the corners. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little track guide here from Watkins Glen, as suggested by a viewer of mine. Hope you enjoyed as well, and see you next time. Bye bye.